Welcome to the Indie Author Spotlight, where we interview indie authors about upcoming releases as well as life as an author, presented to you by Books, Brews, and Dogs. You can visit booksbrewsanddogs.com, purchase a blind date with a book, and support animal rescue efforts. Books, Brews, and Dogs is where you can buy a book and save a dog or a cat. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Indie Author Spotlight, and I am here with Lauren Ennis, and
So
we're going to be talking mostly about her new book, A Boy's Best Comrade, but she does have a lot of other works that I'd like to touch base on and get some more information as well. So, how are you today, Lauren?
doing well, minus the what is it, the super flu they're calling it, but thank God for Dayquil. How about yourself?
Right. I'm doing pretty good. It's been a really busy and hectic morning, but I've got tea, so I'm good.
Well done. Breakfast dinner of champions, right?
All right. I can't make it through a day without at least one cup of tea. So, um, so your book, A Boy's Best Comrade, is a kid's book.
Hmm.
And you just released it October or November of last year, so it's brand new. It's a very new book. Um,
Right.
what inspired you to write a children's book? Because most of your other works are screenplays.
Right. So honestly, it's kind of the weirdest story. It came from a dog trivia calendar. I'm kind of a crazy dog lady, and I have this
I understand.
365. Okay, so you were late. This 365 dog fun facts calendar that I get every year. And on one of them, it happened to be fun fact of the day was that there are packs of stray dogs in Moscow that have taught themselves how to ride the subway, and not just to how to ride it, but they commute. They follow the same routes every day. And that they've even taught themselves how to run like con artist games where they'll send the cute little ones out to like fake sick and to, whine and try to get food from people that way. And the bigger, scarier ones they'll send out to like scare people into dropping their food. And I just thought that was the funniest, craziest thing. And I was like, that can't be. Where did they go? What did they do? How have they learned how to do this? And then I looked it up and there's entire documentaries on these dogs.
That's jaw-dropping. I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's
That is
hilarious.
so amazingly funny.
And you
And
can see there's videos of them just chilling out on the train like it ain't no thing.
yeah, and it really helps prove how intelligent dogs actually are.
Oh, absolutely.
People who don't have dogs, I don't think truly understand, and some people who do have dogs, I don't think truly understand just how intelligent they are. It that's
It's mind
so
blowing.
fascinating. That's so fascinating. I
So I
stand
just
on
kept, I couldn't. I know, you have to look it up because it is the funniest thing. Like there's entire videos, they put little geo-tracking collars on them so you can see their daily route and they follow it. And I guess they've memorized it through all the smells, but like they know to follow the signals, they know how to look both ways, getting on and off. And they just blending with the crowd. People are just used to them and nobody bothers them. They just go about their day like they're average commuters.
That's amazing. That
It's insane.
that would be so cool to be a part of and to go be able to see that.
Oh, definitely.
I never thought I'd want to go to Russia. It wasn't one of the few places that I'm not like, oh, I have to see it. Like it would be cool, don't get me wrong, but
Oh,
now I
yeah.
think I might want to change that.
Seriously, because there they are just hanging out to this day.
I'll go anywhere to go hang out with dogs.
Seriously. It is unbelievable. And like there's even a statue in one of the subways dedicated to one of the street dogs that there was a really awful story. There was like a mentally ill woman who attacked one of them, but the city raised the money to put up a statue dedicated to the street dog because everyone loves seeing him on the train every day.
Oh, wow.
So they're just part of the local culture now.
That's amazing. It
It's
it's
wild.
really interesting how we adapt and live, and how animals in general can adapt to live um and through observation, because that's, I mean, isn't that how we got dogs in the first place as companions, is they were watching the camps of humans and waiting for the scraps of food, and then they slowly started integrating themselves into our life, and we wound up with a symbiotic, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Relationship, yeah. With that
We're
relationship
like we work
where
as a team.
they
Yeah.
helped us and we helped them, and so it's really cool to see that happening in our time, because we think of that happening only ages ago, centuries ago, millennia ago, but it is still something that happens on a regular basis. And if you think about all of the stories of crows out there and the people that feed the crows, and then the crows start bringing them little trinkets and thanking them, or they'll protect their yard and alert them when people are there. And so it's interesting how animal we learn to live with each other, and how
Oh,
animals
yeah.
learn to live with us if we allow them.
Exactly. And how much it's a bond that even goes beyond real explanation. Like it goes beyond science, it goes beyond our normal understanding. There's just something kind of deeper there that they just instinctively kind of know. It's insane.
I've had both dogs and cats, and I couldn't imagine a world where we weren't companions.
And would it even be a world you'd want to live in?
I don't think so. I really don't. I love them so much. As you can see, my little pitty is sleeping in the back, and my
Yeah,
husband's
what a
at my
thing.
feet. So they're being nice and calm today. We'll see if it lasts.
Hey, it'll get more viewers, right? Who doesn't love seeing dogs?
Right. So, so these packs of dogs that live in Moscow and commute were the inspiration. What, why are you looking back, 100 years into wartime in Russia is when this is happening? And so what brought um that story up? Because I'm guessing this pack of dogs was also the inspiration on why it's in the dog's point of view.
Yes. So what happened was it all kind of grew from that whole concept, and I just kept obsessing over it, even when I was working on other adult projects. And I was like, somebody's got to do something with this. Somebody's got to do something with this. And I kept thinking, well, it'd be better as like a cartoon, like a good 80s 2D Don Bluth cartoon. That's what I kept picturing it as.
It
And
really,
he grew
it
to knit.
really does kind of have that feel, but there's also a lot of really good information. You did a lot of research for this.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there was nights I would be sitting there over maps of Moscow, like on the verge of tears because I was so frustrated trying to find the right roads and the right routes, and because the names change so often with
Mhm.
every new regime, and just the language barrier. Like if it was like French or German or something, I could at least be like, oh, well, that word looks like that word. But when it's in the Cyrillic alphabet, I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah, it's completely different. Yeah. And we have a lot of French and Germanic words within the English language, but
Right.
Russia's not Russian is has not really adapted in we haven't adapted that into our language. It's a very different language.
Yes, Slavic is its own animal. I mean, unless like you speak Greek or something, then you'd at least be able to have some with
Mhm.
that Cyrillic. But yeah, I agree. So yeah, I kept thinking it would be like a great cartoon, but then I was thinking, well, obviously I can't draw to save my life, and I really would love to do this story. So I thought, well, it would need to be a novel because if you do a screenplay, I mean, the screenplays generally, unless you are familiar with the system or you're working in Hollywood or you have your own resources, you're not really going to have it go anywhere. And um plus, too, I wanted to be able to make it like in that old school kind of vein. And I wasn't sure if I'd even be able to get that done unless I did it in a novel. So then when I decided, okay, I'll do it and it'll be like a kid's book, great. But then I was thinking, okay, so, at first it was going to be just following these dogs on the subway. And I was thinking, well, that's not really enough for a story. That's just straight up shenanigans. It's fun. but where's the
Mhm.
conflict? So then I was like, okay, well, you have to have one dog that has to come in to be the straight man amongst all these street dogs and be kind of our guide into that world. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, you need some people. Kids and dogs go together, like PB and J. And then thinking, well, why is this kid alone? And then it all hit me at once. I'm like, oh, because it's during Stalin's purges and his parents were arrested by the secret police. And I'm a major history nut, and I
Mhm.
have had an obsession with Russian history and Russian literature for as long as I can remember. So it was like an opportunity to bring my two great loves of like Russian history and lit and dogs crashing together in one place.
Mhm.
So I tried to make it almost like Oliver and Company or All Dogs Go to Heaven meets Dr. Zhivago.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely see I'm not familiar with the second one that you said,
Yeah.
but I definitely see kind of an all dogs go to heaven when all the dogs are getting together and they're working on their plan and they're doing all their things and there is a lot of shenanigans in the book. And
Oh yeah.
one of my favorite things is the pretentious cat in the beginning when
Yes.
someone's describing the cat. She's just like, I've met cats before, but this one. And you can just feel the sarcasm and the dislike dripping off of that statement in the book. And like you can't read that without feeling it. It so it was so funny. I burst out laughing as soon as
I'm so happy to hear that.
I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. So it is a really heavy book, for a kid's book with a heavy topic, but there is obviously still a lot of points where that comedy and that cartoon aspect comes through. And so I think it I think you balanced that really well with a heavy
Thank you.
topic and bringing it, into a little bit of a lighter frame, but still allowing that empathy of, wow, things were really hard, or I couldn't imagine having to go through that. And you also made it interesting for adults. So in reading the book, it, for me, and I'm not a librarian, so I don't know that I can, gauge exact ages, but I would give this to like my 8-year-old niece to read, eight,
Perfect.
9, 10 years old. But I still really enjoyed it. There's still a lot in there for an adult to, especially because of how much research you did in the history. And I think your love of history shows, because you dedicated a lot to getting it right. And you can tell you didn't just try to glance over, but you really wanted to get it right.
Thank you so much. That means so much to hear. Like that's exactly what I was hoping and going for. And I wrote it was to be like for the young and young at heart at the same time. Like something like back when we were all kids and we'd watch like old school Disney or Don Bluth movies, and it would be, they'd always say it's fun for the whole family. Have something that you could watch with your nieces and nephews or your kids, and that you both get something out of. You don't feel like it's like, brain rot like some stuff.
Yeah, it's because when you read some kids' books, you're just like, what is happening here?
Yes,
It
I
jumps
look at
all
some
over
of
the
the
place
things
and
my
you're not
nephews
really sure
watch.
what's going on. And kids love it. And it's great because kids, that's what we do as kids. When we were children, we kind of jumped all over the place and did random things. And, our imaginations will go from here to here without even blinking. But as an adult, we're trained to think more linearly. And so jumping back into kind of that chaotic kid's brain can be really hard. There's some people that do it really, really well, like, Dr. Seuss did, where you had all those kind of crazy things happening, but it was still telling that story. But I think sometimes we just lose the ability to find enjoyment in silly things sometimes as we get older. And so finding kids' books, that we can really enjoy that allow us to explore some of that silliness is really important. Even if it does have a heavier topic, it's still a reminder that, we can enjoy the silliness in life because we get so burdened with everything as we get older, all the bills we have to pay, all the responsibilities, and we really do forget to take joy in small things. And I think the the book, A Boy's Best Comrade, kind of shows that it's a really heavy time and really heavy things are happening, but the dogs and the kids are out there and they're just up to shenanigans through the whole thing. And, they're just trying to survive at the same time, but they're doing their best to have fun with it and
Exactly.
make it fun. And that is a really important lesson, I think, for everybody of all ages. Things can be heavy, but don't forget there's magic.
Exactly. And that's what I love about writing, period. I feel like it gives you that chance to escape from, like you said, all the burdens, all the responsibilities, and just let your imagination go and recapture some of that fun of being a kid again.
Yeah. I think it really, really helps to have books that we can lean into for that. Uh, there's something about you can watch a TV show and you can get enjoyment from it and you can get, it can hit you pretty hard and it can make you think, but at least for me, it never hits the same way a book does. It
Definitely.
there's so much more, and I think it's because we're more involved in the process of reading than we are when we're watching. When we're watching, it's happening over here. When we're reading, it's happening in here. And so we're so much more involved in the emotions and things that are happening to the characters when we read about them than when we're watching them.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you get to be an active participant then, and you get to decide, how everyone's voice sounds and what things look like. I mean, you have the descriptions, but you can kind of make it your own thing when you're reading it. Whereas, like you said, when you're watching it, you're strictly passive, and it just is what it is. There's no room for interpretation. There's no room for adding your own twist, and plus, there's more breathing room for a book. There's more time for the characters to develop. There's more space for the emotional beats to hit. So, like you said, there's definitely much more room for you to be involved.
Yeah. So The Boy's Best Comrade, amazing book, definitely worth
Thank
it.
you.
Uh, I have really enjoyed it. I am looking forward to being able to finish it. I think I'm about 50, 60 to 50 pages away from the end.
All right.
But there's so much that happens in this novel, and not, it's not a novella. It is a novel. It's a decent sized book. It's over 300 pages. And that's a pretty big for a kid's book. That's like Percy Jackson. I think even the first Percy Jackson, I'm not sure was even that big. Um, so but it's fun, even though it's a heavy topic. And I know I keep saying that. I think I've said it 3 or 4 times now, but it's really important for us to read stuff like this because it teaches us so much about the human experience through different times. So, thank you so much for getting inspired and not just getting inspired to write the story, but to put it out there. Uh, so, what was it like going from writing mostly screenplays to writing a novel? What did that feel like for you?
Terrifying. I had tried to do a novel years ago and I didn't outline hard enough, so I just got lost in the weeds and had like 10 different subplots and this massive cast of characters, and it just totally got away from me. So then this time I just outlined this thing to a T. And then I just started out with one small goal, finish the bloody thing. And then from there, I decided if I finish it, I'll work on trying to make it sound good and take it from there. So it took me about 2 years to get it finally finished, between just having the day job and the research and just burnout at different points. But yeah, totally different experience, but I've got to say, I kind of love it because there's no limits. Um,
Hmm.
I think I'm just going to do novels from now on because you don't have to worry about, oh, is there a budget for this? How would I even stage that? You can just roll with it.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm good to go. Now that I've done one, that's going to be how I'm going to take it from here.
Nice. It's the gateway drug for you.
Exactly.
So what inspired you to start writing in the first place? You also have a couple of blogs that you do where you talk about I read the one you did about Cowardly the Courage.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes, I'm like I said that wrong. Where did
Oh my gosh. 90s kid
when things come
nostalgia.
out backwards in your head? Yeah, I loved that. I think that was a lot of fun, that blog post that you did, and it
Thank you.
explains that show really well. It is yet another dog up to a lot of shenanigans that deals with a lot of heavy topics throughout the show. Um and kind of helps you learn how to work through that. And so um what was it that really just kind of made you feel you wanted to write these thoughts and get them out there and share them?
Well, that's even kind of another weird story too, because like most people you hear on these interviews say, "Oh, I was writing ever since I was a little kid." No, I was kind of weird that way. I was writing poetry in high school and I could write a decent essay in school, but I didn't start writing fiction until college, and even that was only on a dare because I was in the school drama club and we had a temporary drama instructor who said, "Oh, somebody should write the play about our campus." And I'm like, we're a boring school that just went co-ed. What are we going to talk about? Like, we're in the middle of suburban Mass. Like, and he's like, no, no, no. They got all these weird things happen. He names these, celebrities who stop by and these different things. I'm like, yeah, I'm really not getting that out of, George Washington once slept here, but okay. But then he says, oh, and then there was a Nazi spy who used to teach here. I said, come again? And I looked it up in the school archives, and there really was a Nazi spy who taught at our college and was indoctrinating students and was like messing around with guys at the embassy to get secrets and doing the whole Mata Hari thing.
Oh
And
my
she
gosh.
stated, like, she briefly went to jail under like a HUAC under the House Un-American Activities Committee during World War II, and she just charmed all the guards and whatever, and they let her go scot-free, and she was able to like start a new life running a dance school. Yeah, stranger than
What an
fiction.
incredible story.
Yeah, ridiculous. So I wrote a very bad play about it. And it's then I just got addicted to writing from there. I mean, I was watching nothing but 1930s and 40s B movies at the time. So it
Uh,
just reads like a 30s or 40s B movies. It's like everybody's talking like this, see? And like you can just picture they probably are wearing their pants up to here. It's just ridiculous.
oh, I myself am a B movie watcher
Oh my gosh.
because not ev I just it's great to go see all the three theatrics and have the really intense stories or have the really cool special effects. But sometimes I just want to sit and be lost and not think about, not be thinking too hard and laugh and giggle about the campiness of something. And
Yes.
so I love, I love like stuff like that. And the stories are often, there's nothing wrong with the stories. It's just not, the most popular thing right now. by chance sometimes.
Oh
And the
yeah.
stories can be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I watch a lot of stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, especially like if I'm having a bad day at the office, I'll just come home and put the room on. I don't care. Tommy Wiseau will do it for me.
Um, one of one of my favorites is the oh, I can't remember the name of it. Probably because I'm trying to think about it too much. But she basically trains her husband using a book of how to train your dog.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
he
God.
starts doing stuff and it turns into this thing. It's hilarious. God, I'll have to look it up. Uh,
Yeah, definitely, because that sounds hilarious.
I haven't seen it in forever. It used to be playing on one of the streaming services, is how I had found it. But yeah, it's like a old, I think it was 1950s
Oh
or
my gosh.
1960s movie, like right when they got color, or right, shortly after color
Oh, that makes it
movie
even
in
better.
film. Yeah, it was so great.
Did you ever
I
see
loved it.
Plan 9 from Outer Space?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta watch Plan 9. It is like the king of B movies. It is so wonderfully bad. It makes me so happy.
Oh, I love it. It's the same reason I love old Star Trek. Original Star
Yes.
Trek is B prime, like B movie, B. And I know a lot of people might argue with that, but if you go back and you watch the old ones to the newer ones, that's what B movies are.
Oh
They're
yeah, it's
they're
like
that right there.
old school Lost in Space and old
Oh
school
my
Adam
God.
West
Yeah.
Batman.
Farscape.
Yes.
I love
The
Farscape.
campiness. Oh, so good.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to plan a B-roll night where I just sit with some popcorn and some
Absolutely.
red vines and just
Oh yeah.
oh gosh. I haven't done that in a while. I'm feeling the
Ultimate
need for
escape.
it coming on.
Love it.
So, uh, tell us some of you have quite a few. Let me see if I can bring them up real quick. So, oh, that was the wrong browser window. Where did it go? I I had things ready and now I don't know what I did with them.
Worries.
I was rearranging my desk and I only have one screen right now, and I normally have three, but
How you
time
doing
got
it?
away from me and I didn't get to finish doing all of the things. Um, so you have quite a few screenplays that you have published. We know you want to switch over to doing novels now, but with your screenplays that you have, because you have
I think it's
about
five
seven.
plays, five screenplays.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite to do? Which one do you think was the hardest? Uh,
I'd say probably one of my favorites would be Iron Willed. It's like a group of World War II resistance fighters, and then they all end up meeting again years later when they're all stuck in East Germany. Because I ended up reading an article at some point about how a lot of the people who worked in the Stasi or the secret police in East Germany were originally resistance fighters against the Nazis, and they
mm,
ended up. So I was like, what a weird dynamic to think about how you fight totalitarianism from one angle and end up being part of it from another angle. And
yeah,
how so that was a story of what one
the
woman who,
little Animal Farm,
yes, absolutely.
very Animal Farm.
Not that a terrible version that's coming out in a few months. Oh,
Oh,
can't even. But no, that one was interesting. And again, another research heavy one. But yeah, just exploring all the moral ambiguity in it and how it's very noir. Nobody's really all good or all bad, and they all make some pretty bad decisions
Mhm.
just trying to make the best of their circumstances. And how when people are up against a wall, they'll act in ways that even they never expected they would.
Oh, the things that we'll end up doing when we feel like we're trapped. It's, you know, we we can do a lot of good, but we can commit a lot of horrific acts if we think we're up against a wall. And
Exactly.
and I believe that of anybody. Um, that when it comes down to it, there's a breaking line somewhere for anybody. Um, so
Oh, yeah.
it's really nice to have stories that play into that to help people under understand that we all have that line. Um, it, how do you work through that? What happens? What does it look like when that line is crossed? What might that feel like? And because when we read, we get to be these characters. Uh, and of course, reading screenplays is a little bit different than reading a novel, but when even in reading the screenplay as opposed to watching it, you're still actively reading it. It's still your imagination coming out in it. Uh, so what would you say the differences are in writing a screenplay versus writing a novel? Like, what was the major difference for you? How did you find that experience?
The biggest difference is the description because even when I went over everything with my editor, at one point she flat out said, she's like, these are stage directions. And I said, no, they're not. But she's like, no, they are. I'm like, oh, yeah, they really are. Because I wouldn't just say, the dogs climbed out the window. I'd be like, oh, they pulled over a chair. Then they climbed up on the chair. Then they pulled themselves up to the window. She's like, we don't need this. I'm like, but how do you picture how a dog does this? She's like, we can get it. We're not foolish. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Because I
Yeah.
was so used to every single thing you do in a screenplay, you have to outline all the physical motions and the placement on everything. So it was trying to get that out of my head was a big one. And how to add description because it's just action and dialogue when you do a screenplay.
Hmm.
So this here, trying to add description and not fall into the trap. I thank God I had an amazing editor. Um, but to not fall into the trap of making it sound overly flowery. There was a few times that she even caught me and was like, "This doesn't sound like you." I said, "No, it doesn't. It's me trying to sound smarter than I am. I'm sorry. You caught me."
Oh, who hasn't done that at some point? I remember being in sixth sixth grade, seventh grade, and AOL chat had like just come out to
Oh my
be a
gosh,
big
dial
thing.
up.
I know. Oh, and and so I was sitting in a chat room and I'm this, you know, 12, 13-year-old kid trying to sound like I'm an adult and everybody in the room knows it.
Yes.
I got called out so fast. They're like, so, you know, you're a 13-year-old with a thesaurus and a dictionary sitting next to you. I was just, oh, I,
But at least you brought that dictionary and thesaurus, right? You put in
I
the effort.
did.
Oh my gosh. It's so true though. It's like even like looking back at like essays from high school, I'm like, oh, who thought this sounded good?
Yeah. It's when you realize your teachers had to remind themselves constantly they're a child, they're a child, they're a
Scale
child.
it down. Yes.
I I do not envy teachers reading kids' papers.
No.
Although if social media some of those teachers share some of the things they read in those papers. And it can be comical, but I'm sure the majority of them are not that funny.
Oh, I remember I student taught for one semester because I was going to try to go for teaching before I switched over into legal. Oh, the stuff they would come up with. I'm like, you clearly didn't pay attention in class, but good on you for the creativity. I mean, I remember there was one kid wrote an entire paper about how World War II was started because Hitler was abusing Ava Braun and FDR was upset about it and wanted to protect her honor. I'm like, nice try, kid, but not exactly. But A for effort, the creativity
The leaps and jumps. Oh, it's
of a
funny.
15-year-old's mind.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was like, what Fabio novel did you steal this from, sir?
Oh, what a great reference for that. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious.
I mean, that's what it read like. Oh my gosh, just give FDR long flowing locks and that would have been it.
I don't know how we're going to continue. I might be. Oh, that's hilarious. I can't get that picture out of my head. Goodness. So
Sorry.
it's like I think you broke me. Um, so you were saying you want to write more novels going forward and that you might switch over to writing novels. Um, so do you have any ideas and of what's coming and what's your plan? What's your schedule for the planned schedule? Because, nothing ever goes as planned. So,
Absolutely. So, actually, it's a kind of spin-off of A Boy's Best Comrade.
oh,
Yeah. So, when I was doing research for Boy's Best Comrade, I came across this another wild, ridiculous true story from Soviet Russia that apparently during World War II, where all the Allies and the Axis, mostly the Allies, would use combat animals, they wouldn't just ask people to donate the way the Allies would, the rest of the Allies would. The Soviets would just show up at your house, bang on your door, and be like, "Hi, comrade, we hear you have a dog. We need it for this man's army right now." And they drafted everything with a pulse. I mean, there was a camel at the Battle of Stalingrad who they brought to Berlin just so they could make him spit on the Reichstag. I love the epic pettiness of that.
that's hilarious.
It's amazing. I mean, they had pigeons, they even had cats that would guard all the granaries during the siege of Leningrad. And the dogs, the jobs they would have them do were insane. Like some of them were incredibly disturbing. Like they had anti-tank dogs that some of them would do kamikaze missions, and that was
Oh,
insanely disturbing. But they
yeah.
stopped that early on because it failed epically, because they would just run back to their handler and be like, look, I got the okay, I want my treat. And then they were losing entire regiments. So it's like Wile E. Coyote style. It's insane.
I have to say that's what they get for trying to train dogs
Well,
to
yeah, but
like
there were some that did they did mind searching, they did sending messages, they did recon missions, and there was even this husband and wife team, Dina Volkot. She was the only female Soviet dog handler, and she ended up with her marrying her superior after the war, Alexander Mazover. And they ran an entire dog training school, and one of her dogs flew up a Nazi train and survived unscathed. She was trained to take this bomb on her, like a little like a harness, and she was trained to remove the harness on the train tracks so that when the train came up, it blew up, and it blew up an entire shipment of like Nazi armaments.
wow.
It's insane. And um
Both dogs
another
went running.
because they don't want to get conscripted into the Red Army. They can't
Right?
have
I'm
this.
like, what happened? I didn't, they're not barking. They're not, they're just like, oh, wait, I don't want to go do that.
No, thank you.
My lazy boys.
Beautiful dogs, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, so when I read about all that, I was like, no, no, they did not. No, this is ridiculousness. So I couldn't resist. So now that's going to be a spin-off of Yuri is grown up or in his late teens, volunteers to join World War II, and he goes MIA, and his new dog wants to go and find him. And when she sets off in search of him, she gets nabbed and conscripted into the Red Army. So it's sort of like Homeward Bound meets Enemy at the Gates.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun. And I love that these are all dog forward.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they're all based off my dogs too.
Yeah.
Like Sasha's my current dog, and Mishka's my sister's dog, Ruby, but they always call her Bear, so that's why she got named Mishka. And the dogs in the new one will be my last girl, Sheba, because she was like the East German Shepherd, so they're like built to be like the canine unit dogs. And we used to call her Stitch because she was like Lilo and Stitch. She was so
Mm.
feisty and out of control. And like you would take her to the park, she'd find drugs in the park, she'd find money, we put it back. We don't want it, put it back. And she was just absolutely wild. She was always in trouble, but we all loved her. But I figured she'd be great to be putting into that war setting. She was built for it. And
Yeah.
it'll be her playing off another dog who's kind of more skittish and scared, and that's based off my sister's last dog, Lady. So
That these sound like I can't wait until you're done with it. It sounds like so
thank
much
you. Thank you.
fun.
Yeah, it'll probably be a while because I've still, I've got the 9 to 5, and I'm hoping it'll be faster than the 2 years on the last one, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's well, maybe it will be because you have a little bit more experience with writing the novels. You have a little bit more of a, you know, plan on what to do because you got this one done. Murphy, okay. What you growling at? What you growl at? I don't see nothing. You're safe. Wheelie. I think the mailman might be coming up. It's about that time for us.
Oh, that'll do it.
That'll get him. So, um, give me 1 second. I gotta. All right, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
It's a. It was the trash truck was driving by, so
Yep, usually the trash, the mail, or the Amazon guy.
it's one of them. But he's definitely never gonna let anyone in without making sure we are fully aware that there is someone
Good
here.
job.
So
I
he's
mean,
doing
my
his
girl
job.
usually just gives me a dirty look and is like, go deal with that.
Yeah. Perrin doesn't react to anything either. He gets up and runs because Murphy does. So, well, come here.
Team effort.
Yeah. Now he's being demandy. Come,
Oh, so cute.
come here. Good job. All right. Distract him before he decides he's gonna sit there and bark the rest of this. I don't have I don't have time to do that training right now. So, um, the book you have out, and the book you have planned are so. One is definitely so much fun. One sounds fun, and I'm really looking forward to getting to see the expansion of that world. Uh,
Thanks so
so
much.
I'm looking forward to it. So, um, trying to remember where we were at before I got the dog.
I think we're just talking about like other plans coming up kind of thing.
Yeah, and how busy it is. So you're right. Um, so now that you've written the that first novel and gotten it out and you have more of a plan, I'm thinking that you're right, that it might take a little less than the 2 years that you're hoping it takes less than. Uh, but it is something that, when you read indie authors, it's something that you get used to. Is it takes a long time to get that next novel the majority of the time because you are dealing with people who aren't writing full time more often than not. They have 9 to 5s and they have families on top of those 9 to 5s and they're not writing full time as a job. So they're fitting it in between family and work and rest and all these obligations that they have to do, and so do not push yourself to get it done just for us. We can wait.
Much appreciated. And in the meantime, one of my screenplays, I adapted into a graphic novel, and that should be coming out in the next few weeks.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's called sorry, Daughters of Attrition. It's about two little girls in a orphanage in Kabul during the American withdrawal from Afghanistan 3 years ago, and
Mhm.
how they make their own comic book to cope with everything that's happening around them.
Oh, what how neat.
Thank
That'll
you.
be really interesting to see. I love that you go in and explore all these heavy topics and find ways to insert creativity and joy and into your characters to help them overcome and adapt to the hard and often horrific things that have happened uh, in their environments. And just, I think that that really helps with us when an author can do that. And when we read books that do that, I think it really helps us to learn, one, we're not alone. Two, the way that I feel is is normal. I'm not as alone as I think I am. And it can also open our eyes to new ways of seeing things so that we have, to being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes when we're in those dark spaces and realizing how other people can get there and taking joy in those small moments. And there's so many things in books that help us to understand more about ourselves, that it is so, so important that we learn how to read and we learn how to find the allegories in the stories because of what they do just to help us get through. Not just for entertainment, but they really do help speak to us in a way that helps us learn, adapt, and move forward. I mean, that's why storytelling was always done through the centuries. It wasn't always written down, but you every culture had their storytellers. And
Oh, absolutely.
so it's amazing, finding, and these books that speak to us and the books that deal with really hard issues that a lot of people don't want to touch. A lot of people don't want to touch books that deal with war times and the things that happened and put that research out there, especially putting it into a kid's book to in a way to help kids understand the things that happened during that time in a way that's not too dark. And I think you've just done that really well, and it's I love that you tackle that.
Well, thank you. I mean, I those were some of the books that I loved the most as a kid and that really fostered my love of history. Like I remember reading Number the Stars in fifth grade and it blew my mind because that was the first time I'd ever read anything about the Holocaust or World War II. And just thinking something like that could have happened in a relatively recent time period was just absolutely mind-blowing.
Hmm.
And then even learning, like we read books about the girls in the Lowell Mills and about the Industrial Revolution and how awful the conditions they all had to work in were. I mean, kids who were our own age at the time, so it really hit home that much harder. And I mean, those were the ones that really stuck with me through the years.
Yeah. Which is understandable because of the topics that they deal with. You would expect that they stick with you because they make an impression, and they should make an impression. Are they should teach us a lesson in what history did and how it felt to have to live through that so that we don't repeat those types of things. But we can't learn from that if people don't write it and people don't read it. And we are supposed to learn from our experiences and learn empathy from reading about these characters. And that's the point of storytelling, and it always has been. Even if you look at old myths from around the world, the point was to teach you something. You were supposed to learn something from it. And so I don't go into a book expecting to learn something, but I do go into a book going, what can I learn from it?
Exactly.
I don't go in, oh, I'm gonna, unless I'm going in to read, a psychology specific book or a math specific book or something, a textbook of some sort. When I pick up a book of fiction, even if it's, you know, historical fiction, contemporary fantasy, it doesn't really matter. I go in with I wonder what I can learn from this, what I can take away from this. How can I see this? How can I relate it to something that I went through, that a friend's going through? Where can I learn from it? And I think, uh, I think that that's the best way to approach reading personally. Um, but I don't expect everyone to necessarily believe that or feel that way. But uh, reading is one of the best connectors we have to the human experience, especially in a world that is so vast and and it's vast and it's connected, but it's also very dissociated because of social media and the internet. And so it's this weird catch 22. Yes, we're able to connect very easily through the internet and through social media, and we can build things and relationships through that, but it doesn't give us that same connection as actual human interaction. And reading doesn't do that either, but I think it helps bring us a little bit closer to that. Uh,
Oh yeah, and I mean I think too just the fact that where we do have social media and so much technology, we're able to connect more, but we can hide in our own little niches much more easily too and find our own little kind of cliques. It's almost like the lunch table at high school on an electronic level. Like you can just stay in your own little area with people who think like you in your own little echo chamber and be happy with that and not even have to think about what people who have other interests or a totally different way of life than you, like how they would even see the world. It wouldn't even occur to you then because you wouldn't have any reason to interact with them or to connect with them.
yeah, it's it's interesting to see how quickly things change in the world and the just
you know, going from the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s to 2020s, it's the amount of changes that have taken place on the world stage, on the technological stage. It's astounding because it's just, how do you keep up with all the things that are happening? And it's so I'm glad that I can delve into books and kind of release some of that and just enjoy being um and seeing and connecting with people over the books that we read, and different thoughts and getting different perspectives and seeing things from so many angles. And I can't thank you guys enough for putting your stories out there for us.
Hey, thank you for giving us the opportunity to share them. This is fantastic.
You're welcome. I always tell people, I go, it is selfish because it gives me, I get a built-in TBR and of independent authors and unique stories to read. And then I get to know you guys through this process. So it, while I am sharing it with other people, I am doing this because I want an excuse to talk to you guys. So there's definitely some selfish means behind getting this started.
Well, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
So, but if I can get what I want while helping other people, then I'm all for it. So, um, but yeah, uh it was an indie author that actually inspired me to do it because we ended up me and her ended up talking and meeting because we happened to be in the same city when I lived in Texas. And so we were like, well, let's get together, let's have a coffee, let's talk. And so we did. And then I was like, what do you think about this? And she's like, oh my God, I love that idea. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And eventually I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do it. And she's like, yes, I'll be your first interview. And so
That is so
she was
awesome.
my first interview. And we talked about her books, and we talked about, we had to do it twice um, because the first time, um, the dogs like got into it over a toy, and I had to stop the recording. And when I restarted it, I forgot to turn the mics back on.
Oh
And so we
no.
recorded the whole thing with no mics. And so I had
Oh,
to bring her back. We had to record it twice.
oh,
And I felt so bad, but she was so easygoing. Lauren Sorensen is her name. And so I'm not just calling her, but Lauren Sorensen. And she was just so amazing and so supportive. And she helped introduce me to a lot of the indie authors that went through the first rounds. And um, this past year has just been such a fun and amazing experience, even with all of the trials I've been going through. Um, I've had to put like the book sales that I do kind of on hold, but I have absolutely refused to drop doing the podcast. As hard as it has been, I was like, I am going to continue doing that. I'm not dropping it. I will figure it out. And so um, here,
and that's
here we go.
fantastic because the amount of work that goes into these, and you've been putting these episodes up consistently
Yeah.
and across a wide variety of genres and all different types of authors. So kudos to you.
Yeah, it is challenging. It really is, but it is also very fun. My least favorite part is the editing, which is why I don't really edit anything out. I just put in the pictures of the books and things across the top. Although I do edit out laughing fits, which I'm gonna have to do this one because
That's fine. If we can edit out
you
the
broke
coughing
me.
jags, that would be great.
Um, but Yeah, so I'll edit the small things like that, like when you broke me laughing and I sat here for 5 minutes trying to catch my breath. But um it's just fun, and the amount of things that I learned from you guys about the work that you do, about what inspires you, about you know, how you get started in doing things, and everybody's story is so unique, and it's so much fun to hear that and to learn that. And I really do hope that, everybody's story reaches somebody that it can connect to it, and they can feel inspired if they've been waiting or holding back and feeling not quite ready. And one of at least one of the authors that I talk to is gonna their story is gonna reach somebody, and it's gonna inspire them. And I really do hope that that happens, and that you guys can inspire each other, watching it and listening to and connecting with new authors that maybe you haven't seen before. And because it's such an amazing community, and I feel so privileged to be a part of that community with how supportive everyone I've met within the indie author community is. It's just absolutely amazing.
No, thank you. I mean, I think that's the most any of us hope for is to just have it reach that one person who it really hits. And just to know that, even for that one, that brief span of them reading it, that it meant something.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's just such a weird weird isn't the right word. Um, I think my brain froze. But taking these ideas and these stories and having the courage to put them out there, and to have other people reading it and interpreting it and getting their own ideas from it is one, like, really cool and really terrifying, and has to be what I imagine to be a really um kind of bizarre experience, because you write it with the intention of this, and some people get that, and then some people get something completely different, and you're going, okay, I get, you know
Oh,
and it's
definitely. It's
how how
surreal.
do you work through that kind of feedback when it's like, how did you know when you're getting something that comes out completely different than what you were expecting people to get out of it?
Well, yeah, thankfully I've had overwhelmingly positive feedback. I mean, I had one review which it was kind of funny because the person was saying, I don't know if you had enough of a relationship between the boy and the dog. And I'm like, did we read the same book? So, I mean, other than that, mostly it's been people who have been saying a lot of the same things as you. It's like, oh yeah, this is like the stuff I grew up with. I get what you're going for. So I've been very blessed and lucky that way.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And like I said, you really did do an amazing job, and it did feel a lot like I was picking up. It wasn't a book I was familiar with, but it felt like I was picking up one of the kids' books that I'd have read, and that style that I would have read. Uh, so I'm excited to see the next book that comes out, even though it's a kids' book. I'm gonna be looking for it.
Thanks so much. That is amazing to hear.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I guess the dogs. So I guess that is an us.
Well, thank you to all of you. This has
And
been amazing.
oh, thank you so much. I appreciate your time so much, and I appreciate um you sharing your stories of what inspired you and how you got your stories and all the things that are coming. And I'm just so grateful to have this time to spend with you. And just thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This has been such a great experience.
I'm so glad you feel that way. I'm really excited to see everything that's coming from you. And hopefully, we'll talk again when the next book comes out.
Absolutely. That'd be amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Lauren. Have a great day.
Bye. Thanks, you too.